Yo, what is good, YouTube? What's up, PlayStation Nation? Welcome to another video from your boy Jay Bari. And I feel like we've been talking about Xbox a lot here on this channel. And I promise you guys, this is going to be the last one. This is going to be the last one. But kind of funny, they had a interview with Phil Spencer, where they spoke about like the Redfall reviews and how the game came out, the Activision deal, and some other questions and whatnot. And here in this video, we're gonna be reacting to Phil Spencer's interview with Kind of Funny Games. So we're gonna take it piece by piece, see what Phil Spencer is saying. I'm a PlayStation gamer. I'm somebody that looks from the outside in when it comes to the land of Xbox, and I really want to see what is he saying to get a gamer like me towards an Xbox. You get what I'm saying? So this is the reason why we're going to do this video. We're going to live react to it. As you can see, trust issues. Phil. Hopefully you come through, man. You know what I mean? We're going to see. Listen, you already know how we get down, guys. I give it to you. I speak from the heart. I tell you how you feel. Tell you how I feel. And if it's some BS, it's some BS. If I feel like, oh, he's okay, he's saying some stuff here, then I'll let you guys know. But let's get into it, man. Let's get into it, and let's check out this Kind of Funny interview with Phil Spencer. Hopefully his eyes is open in this video. All right, that's my one joke. Hopefully his eyes is open in the joke. But let's get into it, man. Let's see what my man Philly Spence is talking about. All right, man. Let's see what you got, Philly. Let's see what you got over here, Mr. Phil Spencer. Let's get it.
Spencer, it's gonna be a fun time together. Phil?
Oh, by the way, not everything I'm gonna, watch this whole 40-minute video. We're gonna piece by piece some things, but we'll play by ear. We'll see.
Let's just jump right into it. And it's a tough way to start this episode. It's my birthday this week, and I didn't want to have to do it like this. But Phil, it's been a tough.
Man, it's his birthday this week, and you gonna drop that game, Phil Spencer, on this man's birthday week?
Week in the Xbox universe. As you know, of course, the CMA kind of blocking our acquisition of Activision Blizzard King, and Redfall coming out to poor reviews at the launch. Let's start off at the top. Phil, let's talk about the CMA and, of course, this Activision Blizzard acquisition.
So we talking about CMA. I really don't care what he got to say for the CMA, but let's hear it anyway. You know what I mean? The deal is blocked. You know what I mean? What else can he say? He's like, yo, we're going to continue to talk. We appealed it. Is he upset?
How are you feeling about this? What should be the overall mindset for Xbox gamers when we look at this after months and months of conversation?
Yeah, we remain confident. Obviously, the news from the CMA, which for those not tracking all this, is the United Kingdom's regulatory board on acquisitions to block the acquisition. We'll be appealing that. That's our plan. We continue to work with the European Union. We'll continue to work with the FTC. I think there are like 14 jurisdictions all up. We're working on approval. I think we have 9 approvals so far.
Yo, Phil look stressed, man. Yo, guys, Phil look stressed, man. Man, the pictures that people be posting for Phil Spencer with the memes, he look way younger and much more happier. This man looks stressed out here. He's like, yo, damn, I don't really want to do this interview, but I'm gonna just do it because I probably it was promised or it was in schedule or something. Man, looks stressed, man. That's a nice little Xbox hoodie, by the way. You know what I mean? But man, he look stressed, man. Let's go.
But the CMA decision was disappointing.
The CMA block the deal. Yeah, look at Mike. He tight, boy. Mike don't play none of these games, but he tight. Why you tight for? Might today's your birthday, man, or your birthday week. He look upset. Why you looking at Phil like that?
I've been talking to that group for coming up on a year. They've defined a market of.
There we go. There go my man right there. There go Paris. Yeah, listen, Paris. Paris, I'm talking to you. Stay stern. Stay real. Okay, Paris, because I'll slide up in them DMs. Paris, I'll slide up in them DMs.
Of cloud gaming that.
Gary, I ain't worried about Gary. I ain't worried about Gary because knowing Gary when it comes to Xbox issues, he's always going to try to play it off to it's an overall issue. Like, oh, this happens on PlayStation. This happens on Nintendo. Gary never focuses on just the Xbox position or the Xbox issues. I guarantee it with this guy. Listen, I didn't watch this video yet because I was doing some work stuff, but I guarantee it with this guy right here. I guarantee it. Watch.
In my mind, doesn't really exist yet today, but they have a point of view that maybe we have a lead in a market that is just forming and that this content could somehow prohibit others from competing in that market. But we'll appeal. We stay on it. The company remains very, very committed.
Appeal.
We think Activision Blizzard King is not our strategy, but it is an accelerant for our strategy. So we're...
Yo, Phil just K-Megging me, man. Phil just K-Megging me with that statement. Activision Blizzard King is not our strategy, but it's an accelerant to our strategy. $70 for a publisher is not your strategy.
We're still heads down and working through regulatory.
I am pleased to hear that, of course, as a big fan of many of those gaming franchises over there. I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Knock it off, Mike. Knock it off, man. You're not no fan of these games, man. Maybe you do play COD. You know, I like Mike, man. I like snow bike Mike. You know what I mean? I like his pizzazz, his enthusiasm when it comes to Xbox. But knock it off, man.
This deal go through, and I'm glad to hear that you and the team are still hard at work at making this happen. It has been a long road.
Of course they're hard at work. $70 billion.
It's been a tough road to talk about it each and every single week, kind of falling apart.
How is it tough? What are those games not coming on Xbox? Do you not have access to those games right now? How is it tough? What you just want ownership? That now this is a part of the Xbox. That's what it is? I'm trying to figure out how is it tough? You know? Let me turn this music off. How is it tough? So, continue, Mike.
But
it's always the Brits, isn't it, Mike? We're always the
Yeah.
fly in the ointment. We just got to rain on everyone's parade.
It's a tough one, Gary. Of course, we got to move on to the next one. Phil, of course, Redfall has released from Arcane Austin, and it's been a tough release week for that, coming out to low reviews and a lot of disappointment from many fans. Can you talk?
Yo, Phil, like, it's like, damn, man, I really got to answer this. I should have told my agent, tell him I'll talk about no Redfall.
Talk about that. What is your thoughts right now as we head into the first week of this game being out?
Yeah, man, I'll start. I'll hit Redfall, but I'll just say.
What? What?
All up. There's nothing that's more difficult for me than disappointing the Xbox community.
Phil, I'm here to inform you that this community has been disappointed for a very long time, Phil. Yo, if it disappoints you to disappoint them, this is yo, my man might look like you about to cry right here, man. That's part of the norm over there, man. Respectfully. You know, listen, Phil. I like Phil Spencer. I'm gonna keep it I like Phil Spencer, man. But yo, respectfully, under your tenure, the Xbox fan base has been disappointed for a very long time.
Been a part of it for a long time. I obviously work on Xbox, head of the business, have a lot of friends, get a lot of feedback, and just to kind of watch the community lose confidence, be disappointed. I'm disappointed. I'm upset with myself. I kind of making.
You know what? If this is like the first time, I will have some like sympathy, but it's not. And I mean this respectfully. I don't mean this as no fanboy or nothing like that. We had this dance before, man. We had this dance, Phil. Like, yo, Phil, real talk, Phil. Let me talk to you, Phil. I don't know if you're gonna see this video, but this dance have been. We've been here before. We heard this verbiage before, and it's just like, okay, it's the next year, into the next year, into the next year. It's in 2017, I bowed out of Xbox because I was just like, man, you said that, well, officially at 2018, because that's when I stopped my Game Pass and all that stuff. You know what I mean? I was just like, man, oh no, 2019 I stopped Game Pass, but in 2018 I got rid of all my Xbox consoles. I was like, man, like I don't know if they get it. Like, yo, I bought into Xbox because of the words that you have said. You know what I mean? The promises that you have said, and it was not delivered on my point of view as a consumer, as a gamer, and it's just over and over again be hearing this verbiage. I'm disappointed. I'm sad. I'm this and that. I take the blame. God, man, like at the end of the day, I hope somebody asks this question. Why did you release Redfall in that manner? I hope somebody asks that question. Let's continue.
Revisit our process. I think back to the announcement of 60 frames per second, and then we weren't shipping 60 frames per second. That was kind of our punch.
That was horrible. That was horrible. You promised 60 frames, you slapped it on the box, you put a sticker on there saying ain't no 60 frames. You know this game was how this game state was. I get the words, I understand the transparency, I get what you're saying, but yo, it gotta come full stop, man. How many times are we gonna hear this? Look at Mike. Mike about to cry, man. His eyes is red up. Make sure I got this thing in. What's the resolution they got? 1080p. Not even the video in 60 frames. Oh my goodness. Redfall no 60, the video 90. Kind of funny. Listen, get that together. Let's go.
In the chin, rightfully, a couple weeks ago, and then seeing the game come out, and the critical response was not what we wanted.
The critical response is not what you wanted. The critical response, you knew that's what you was going to get. If you release that game in this manner, how can you say the critical response is not what was you expecting the critical response to be? An 80, a 90? With that released? This is the stuff that I dive into and I try to figure out, because I'm trying to figure out the leadership, the management mindset. Like, yo, why is this releasing in this manner? You know the hands that you're giving this game to, but still will release this. And you're saying, oh, we didn't expect that. If you didn't expect that, you'll be more confident in the product that you put out. You know what I mean? Like, if you put out a very confident product and it reviewed poorly, then you'd be like, yeah, I didn't expect that, man. I thought we delivered a great product. You out here apologizing. I'll take it on the chin. I apologize. This is that. Well, we didn't expect that. If you apologized before and all that and take it on the chin, you definitely did expect it. Pure craziness.
And it's disappointing. And so kind of pick myself up. What can we learn? How can we get better?
He said, pick myself up. Go ahead, Phil. Get your bars off.
One thing I'll fight is kind of what went wrong. There's clearly quality and execution things.
This is why you QA this stuff. You know what I mean? Last year, you promised quality and consistency and all that stuff with this game and Starfield. They released in this manner. Like, this game shouldn't be released. I hope somebody asks, why did you ship this game? I hope somebody asks that specific question right there. If that question is not asked in this interview, it's a bust, because the lesson is not learned. Because I want to see this man answer this question: why did you release this game in this manner? That's what I want to see.
Things that we can do, but one thing I won't do is push against creative aspirations of our teams. I know a lot of people will say, "Hey, you've got teams. Teams know how to do one kind of game."
Okay, this the PR dancing around the question.
Go do the one kind of game that they have a proven track record for, and I'm just not a believer in that. Maybe that means I'll underdeliver
That's the part where, you know, tugging on the heartstrings. Yeah, listen, Phil, we understand that. Nobody is questioning, you know, Arcane, you know, moving up, creating an open world game, or any other studio, you know, doing some other game. The question is, why is this game being released in this manner? You know what I mean? Horizon was a huge departure from Killzone. Horizon, from my experience, from a lot of people's experience, that was a marvel performance wise. That's on a performance level. You know what I mean? 30 frames a second was locked for a majority of it. Beautiful game, resolution. This was a PS4 exclusive type game. You are coming out here with Redfall as your AAA Xbox Series exclusive game for $70 and shipped in this manner. That's what we questioning. We're not questioning about, oh, Arcane or whoever your studio is creating something different and new. That's what we want in games. We encourage that for sure. What we're questioning is how the hell you ship that game in this manner. How the hell conceptually this game launched in that manner. That should be the mindset. All that dancing around, all that stuff. You know, this is why you're not going to get. This is why you're not going to get the gamers to rally behind you, or like the gamers outside of Xbox. That's why you're going to have that steady, that by point. You're not going to go up and grow, because you're not trying to tackle the serious issues and what the outside looking in wants to answer, or wants to see, or wants to hear. You're just dancing around.
For some of our fans out there, but when a team like Rare wants to do Sea of Thieves, when a team like Obsidian wants to do Grounded, when Tango wants to go do Hi-Fi, when everybody probably thought they were doing Evil Within 3, I want to give the teams the creative platform to go and push their ability, push their aspirations, but I also need to have a great selection of games that are continue to come that surprise and delight our fans, and we underdelivered on that, and for that I apologize. It's not what I expect, not what I.
Okay, yo, Paris, get your bars off. Paris, though, this was a Twitter space. My man, Paris said, get your bars up. Get your bars off, Paris.
Want, but you know, it's ours to deliver.
So following up on that, Phil. So again, I appreciate the transparency.
What headphones that's Astros? Headphones look kind of lit, man. Yeah, I need D in hand. What headphones that?
Transparency on that, but there is a second component to this. And as you may or may not know, I talk to a lot of people in the Xbox community because I want to understand, you know, what people are excited about, what they're frustrated about, things like that. So kind of sticking on this conversation about Redfall, but it's kind of a bigger general question as well. And I kind of want to read directly from this so I make sure I get it crystal clear. So what goes into the decision to delay a game when you launch it feature incomplete, or there's a bunch of technical issues? Obviously, we've seen recent examples around the industry. Redfall and Halo Infinite are two that stick out in my mind for Xbox. You know, we obviously have seen the review scores. clearly, you know, we've had the opinion that the game should be delayed. We know every developer wants to ship the best game that they possibly can, but from your level, you know, what's the balance there on when to ship a game that may be feature incomplete or have some technical issues, or just simply give it more time and delay it?
That's pretty much what I'm trying to ask. So yeah, Paris, you're in the right ballpark, but my criticism always going to come with Paris is when he was interviewing Aaron Greenberg. That's when my radar was on Paris. When he was interviewing Aaron Greenberg, he was like, "Yo, ship a game, develop it while it's in Game Pass." That is the mentality of this. They can say all of the stuff that they want, but the fact that you are launching the game in this manner without 60 frames per second, the mission structure, the hogwash. You're treating a single player type game like this. It's not a live service game, but you're treating this game like it's a live service game, and that's dependent all in Game Pass. That is the worry and issue that people have when it comes to Xbox, because at the end of the day, you're not going to get a feature-rich, full-fledged, balls to the wall effort type game day one. You'll get another Sea of Thieves where you got to wait till 3 years down the line for it to get good. And you see what he just mentioned us a couple of minutes ago. Oh, we Sea of Thieves and all that stuff. In the gamer's mindset, yeah, people might be playing Sea of Thieves and whatnot, but in the gamer mindset, that game was not good until years after. That is the problem that's going on here with Xbox. And these little things that, you know, that have been said in these interviews and all that stuff, these guys like Phil Spencer, Aaron Greenberg, of course they're sharing that stuff within their studio. Like, it ain't gonna have 60 frames. That's cool. We're still gonna launch it. That's not happening on PlayStation. That's not happening on Nintendo. If it ain't right, they're gonna delay the game until it's right. Tears of the Kingdom just got delayed. It's coming out next week because now the game is right. God of War got delayed a whole year. Horizon got delayed. It came out and it was right. Why can't you have the same type of I guess pride or passion when it comes to your games? Why are you releasing these games in these manner and like that? Why? Because you're banking on the whole Game Pass thing. Game Pass is a crutch, man. And like I said, that's my biggest criticism with Paris, was that interview right there. Because that I feel like that formulated that mindset. Oh, develop the game in Game Pass, but now we're questioning something like Redfall. This is what y'all wanted. They about to develop this game through Game Pass. Let's hear what you guys say.
Well, I think those are, and I'm happy to go very deep on this. I think if I think about a team's execution on a game, we had a creative vision, and did we realize that vision through the game that we created? That's not a delay question if the answer is no. Like, you can't take something that you started on. This isn't a Redfall specific conversation, right? But we will build games that review in the high 80s, and we will review.
Hey, yo, this man is K-Megging me again. You can't take something that you started from and delay it, like, if it's not right conceptual wise. Like, what are we doing, man? Yes, you can. You think the Last Guardian, all the delays and all the stuff that's going on, you think they didn't delay the game because conceptually they wasn't happy with the game? God of War 2018, we heard Shuhei, he was not happy with the game. Don't pull this stock. Give me a proper product. They have to go back to the drawing board and start again. You have that mindset because you're so focused on this service where you can always update and continually, improve or change the game up within the service rather than doing it before the game come out. That is a problem, Phil. You know what you guys are doing. Nobody's dumb, man. Nobody's dumb. We see how you games are launching. You got single player live service type games. You got online live service type games. That's not even live service, where you treat it like live service, like Redfall. Come on, man.
We will build games that review in the 60s. I mean, it's just kind of part of being in game publishing. And if you're afraid of that, then you shouldn't be in the entertainment business. You shouldn't be in the games business.
Okay, I respect that, because criticism is always going to be different regardless on a game, understandably. But you're not trying to conceptual wise, you're not trying to create a 60 Metacritic type game. I don't think no developers doing that. Redfall, I don't know what they was thinking with that game when it came out. They knew that game was gonna be bad. You know what I mean? There's times in art class when I was a kid in art class and I was drawing something and I'm like, yo, I know this is horrible. I ain't gonna be like, yeah, why I didn't get a 90? You know what I mean? That's being a creator.
That said, every time we deliver something below our own internal expectations that surprises us,
What's the internal expectation?
I don't look at the review scores on Redfall, and there are quality issues and we're working on those. But I think there's a fundamental piece of feedback that we get that the game isn't realizing the creative vision that it had for its players. That doesn't feel like hey, just delay it. That feels like the game had a goal to do one thing, and when players are actually playing, they're not feeling that thing. They're not feeling the creative execution of the team.
You create games that gamers, the expectation is what gamers want to play your game. There's no way Redfall being a looter shooter, being an online co-op game, in that creative process of what you're doing over there in Arcane Austin, and was like, yeah, gamers want to play this game. Comparing it to other looter shooters online game. So yes, with that mindset, you're going to have to change up some things. What?
When a game needs to be delayed, what we did with Halo, we did with Starfield, we did with Redfall, because the production timeline is saying we have this vision and our production timelines don't get us to the completion of that vision, we do delay games. We do that. Learning about the quality, there are clearly, I've seen them, I know there are bugs in Redfall that's launching, but when I look at like the crash rates.
Why did you launch it? Why did you launch it?
On the game, because we get all the telemetry of everything that's happened. It's not out of proportion for a game that has just launched. It's kind of in the pocket of what we would expect. That's not to deny any of the animation, streaming of texture bugs, the AI bugs that we've seen. We will go work on those. But when I look at the review scores of this game, it's did we have enough of creative differentiation in our core idea? And did we realize that creative ambition? I'm a huge supporter of Arcane Austin. Their track record is awesome. I love a lot of the great games that they've built. This is one where the team didn't hit their own internal goals when it launched. I think it's maybe a little.
What was their internal goals? This is what we trying to say. This, bro. There's no way a studio like Arcane wanted to launch this product. There's no way. There's no way. That comes down to you, Phil Spencer, and everybody in management to be like, no, we're going to push this through. There's no way they wanted to launch this product, especially being a first-person shooter in 30 frames on the console that eat monsters for breakfast. Next gen only, $70. It came to a decision from an executive level. We're gonna launch a game. We're gonna take it on the chin, and we're gonna further develop the game as people continue to play through Game Pass. You can't tell me different. You can't tell me different, because there's no way anybody with any sense of pride and passion, like you're saying with the studio, wanted to launch that crap. No way. On a creative level, from that's a looter shooter story, gameplay. There is no way they wanted to launch that game. No way. I refuse to believe that.
Simplistic to just say, hey, if you would have just delayed it 3 months, the core creative of the game would have delivered on something that was different than what it was. So I look at them at different camps. If there's a production timeline issue, we've been open to delaying. If we just have more bugs than we should have at the end of a game, we're open to delaying. At some point, we have to have a creative vision and put the game out, and reviewers and players will tell us what they think.
Oh, they did.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, of course. Please, Gary.
So I have just a couple of small observations and then a question. First of all, I want to give Phil props for coming on here
Give him
today
props, Gary.
and talk just for a minute about why I admire Phil, because he and I have been here before. Back in 2020 during the pandemic when I was doing Animal Talking, Phil, you'll remember this. Phil was booked to come on my dumb Animal Crossing talk show, and then after he was booked, the news came that Halo Infinite was going to be delayed and would not ship with the Xbox Series X and S. And it was
Hey, yo, this man got his own book as a prop on the interview. You ain't slick, man. He got his own book. This shit said Gary Whitta right here. His own book. This is magically there.
You'll remember it was a big deal. There was a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth and people rending their garments, and I was fully prepared for the other shoe to drop. I was waiting for a call from Xbox PR, from Jeff, your friend of mine, Jeff, over in Xbox PR, to say, Phil's not going to be able to come on the show live because, it's a big mess right now. We don't want to put him in the firing line for that. And Jeff called, and I thought, here it is. Here comes the other shoe. And he was like, Phil just wants to know, when's the tech?
Oh, he got a whole podcast through Animal Crossing?
He came on a live talk show and took a bunch of tough questions on a really tough subject and took it on the...
Brother, where is the question, man? Jeez Louise, man. Can we get to the question? Please, respectfully, can we get to the question?
Chin, and I've always admired him for that, for not... It would have been very easy for him to pull out, and he didn't. He came on, and he's doing it again now, and I salute Phil for that. The other point I want to make is that
You got another point? Brother, let me shut up, man.
There may be some Sony platform warriors out there right now crowing about the fact that Redfall has underperformed.
Didn't I tell y'all earlier? What does Sony or PlayStation fans have to do with what's going on with Redfall? Tell me. Are they listening to our feedback? Because if they listen to our feedback, they wouldn't launch that game. If they're listening to us about the game, that game would have been totally different about how it's released. What is that? What does bringing up the whole fanboy or anything back and forth have to do with you sitting down with Phil? Like, what's the point? Let me see his point. Let me listen to his point.
I want to point this out as a creative. Every time somebody takes a big bet, especially a big AAA bet on an original idea, a new IP, and it fails, everybody suffers. It's bad for...
Bro, I told y'all, man. I told y'all. This is how, I have no disrespect towards this man, but I've watched this man enough to know how he flows and know how he does his stuff. It's the passive aggressive type thing, like, I understand we're talking about Xbox issues, but I gotta bring it into like the whole totality of it. If Xbox launch a new IP that fails, it's bad for everybody. No, it's not, because that's not stopping PlayStation, Nintendo for dropping new IPs or new games. That's not stopping anybody from releasing new IPs or games. Look, there's about to be one that's coming out in the summer with EA, and then there's Atlas Fallen. There's many other new IPs that's coming out. Not everyone is going to hit. Obviously, that's common sense, but because Xbox didn't deliver on their promise on a quality AAA game for their fan base and that platform, doesn't mean it's bad for everybody in the totality. That's bad for that platform. That don't make no goddamn sense, man. I hope somebody cut him off on that.
For everybody, because it makes it that much harder for the Phils and the Jim Ryans of the world, the big, the creative, the decision makers.
Not hard for Jim Ryan. Jim Ryan had Days Gone come out. That ain't stop any other game else coming out or new IPs come out. Ben Studio was working right now on another new IP. Hell, Jim Ryan got to do with you interviewing Phil Spencer, talking about Redfall and the woes of Xbox. They trying to make the woes of Xbox a PlayStation and Nintendo thing. And you talking about weird console warriors or what you said, platform crows or what the hell going on here, man? If I'm interviewing Jim Ryan, I'm not bringing up Xbox or the fanboys.
To take a chance on them. Oh, but the last time we did that, it didn't work. Like maybe let's just make a sequel to the next thing, or let the algorithm tell us.
I get where he's coming from, but it's not a whole totality thing, especially in this situation. It's not. I understand where he's coming from, but you're trying to lose the blame on what Xbox is producing. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to make it seem like it's an industry, a worldwide thing.
That's what to do. So every time somebody takes a risk on something new, and especially if it involves something different in game design, let's try something that has been done before and it doesn't work, it hurts everybody. So I just want everyone to be clear, this sucks for everybody. And I see it in my business, I see it in Hollywood, I see it in film and television. It's why so much content is so generic and derivative and formulaic, because everyone's afraid to take a risk. And when something new succeeds, it's good for everyone.
If it was everyone, PlayStation would have released another VR headset. Huh? This is issues on Xbox. They're afraid to take risk. You can tell with this game too. You didn't want to put no money behind it. You know what I mean? They know this game was going to be bad. They know this game needed another year delay. Matter of fact, this game needed to be scrapped on a basic creative level. They knew that. Highlight the issue. You're not going to have creative processes or games like that because you have something like Game Pass, where you have a safe cushion, a soft cushion to fall on. I hope he gets his goddamn question, man.
When something new and original fails, it's bad for everyone. So I just want to acknowledge that this is like a big shit sandwich, and we all have to take a bite, including the Sony people, including everybody.
How are we taking a bite out of Redfall, Xbox Series S platform exclusive game? How are we taking a bite of a shit sandwich for this game and that platform? Even the Sony people. How does Redfall affect the Sony people? Brother, you just spoke for like 3 minutes and you didn't get to your question yet.
Specifically this is a long time. Specifically with a question for Phil, I want to talk specifically about Redfall. When you say that you're disappointed in the reaction, that to me suggests that the reaction was something different than what you were expecting, what you were hoping for. But I know that when these big AAA games, they get subjected to all kinds of internal testing. Focus groups come in. There are third-party companies that will come in and even write like mock reviews, or it comes like hit detection out that will tell you, here's what you can expect the press to make of your game. So usually you've got a sense of what the game is going to be, how it.
Yo, has Gary Whitta ever did an interview before? Like, yo, brother, jeez. Yo, can we get to the question, man? You made 3-4 points. It's PlayStation fans gotta bite the shit sandwich. You didn't even mention Xbox. You said PlayStation in a Phil Spencer interview, and you still ain't even get to your question yet, man.
It's going to be received before it's released, so you can be prepared for it. So Phil, when you say you're disappointed, does that mean that you thought the game was going to be better received, or was it in line with expectation? How surprised were you by the reaction, or how, like, internally, how much do you know? I feel like this one, people we know the game it has problems.
Man, study more than me.
Like, to what extent was this different from what you expected? And also, and sorry, I know I've been talking a long time. And the second part of that is,
at least he's self-aware.
Release now. It's not like the old days when a cartridge was shipped in a box and the release of the game was the end of the game's like development cycle. Now it's just the 1.0 release is just a point on the roadmap. To what extent, given that what we're talking about here is not just 30 frames?
Hey, yo, that nod is like, yo, bro. Jesus.
but design issues, things that maybe
We got 40 minutes to fill. You just asked a 6-minute whole you didn't even ask a question yet. You just rambling.
more conceptual. To what extent do you think
But we know you got a book coming out though, or you got a book. Jeez Louise, man. You might as well tell them about the book that's right there in front of you. After rambling all of that. What the fuck going on, man? Kind of funny. Get it together, man.
or are you committed to continuing to work on the game and getting it maybe a year down the road into Cyberpunk?
Yeah, Paris look like he want to laugh. Yeah, Paris holding one in. Yo, Paris, you holding that in. Paris, tell the truth, man. Tell the truth and shame the devil, man. You holding that one in, brother. You're like, yo, brother, my man. Oh, fuck.
No Man's Sky, we've seen these redemptive stories in the past. To what extent do you hold out hope that you can still get the game closer to where you wanted it to be at launch? I know that was a lot.
No, well, at first I thought your words about creative ambition of teams,
Jesus.
you especially, I mean,
We got there.
You live this, you've done this.
Woo, everybody good? Everybody all right? We got to the questions. Everybody good? Are you okay? Everybody all right? Everybody fine? Need a break? Everybody need a break? Need a water break? After that, go. All right, we good? Okay.
Are very well said and very spot on. So thank you for that. And that's why
Phil
I
don't
love
remember
your
the
voice in
question.
this community, because
He don't remember the question.
You've created, you've seen kind of ups, and as anybody in the industry, we've all seen downs. And on the score, yeah, we do mock reviews for every game that we launch, and this is like double digits lower than we thought we would be.
This is double digits lower than you thought this would be? What the fuck did you? So that means you was thinking this game was going to be in the 80s? The 70s? The 90s? The what? Who was the mock reviewer? Tim Dog? The hell are we doing? Yeah, bro. There's no way he just said we do mock reviews, and yeah, we was thinking this game gonna be, it was in the double digits lower than we thought it was gonna be. I mean, you thinking this is like a 10 or above, from what the score is gonna be. There's no way you are just not that self-aware of what you're putting out. There's no way. There's no way Phil Spencer's in this industry that long and thinking that game was going to be even a 70 or 80 type game. There's no way. I refuse to believe that. If that's the case, then we have a overarching issue over there at Xbox. And like we've been saying, a management issue over there at Xbox. You know what I mean? If that's the case, if you think off your mock reviews that this game was double digits lower than you expected, that is crazy.
With this game, went through our mock reviews, and that's what's one of the disappointing things. Like we would never strive to launch a game that we thought was going to review in the low 60s. It's not part of our goals. If you look at our reviews,
high 50s. You just said that you're going to get games that review that low. You're not striving. That's what I was saying. Nobody's striving to get them games that low. But like I said, there's no way you knew this game was going to be 70, 80. There's no way.
Scores over the last year, it's not a defense at all. If you look at the review scores over the last year, I think the teams have done a better job in upping the level of quality of the games that we've shipped. Some of those games first shipped on PlayStation, but still, when I go through the list of the games,
Now I feel mentioning PlayStation because that's what Gary set up. You know what I mean? And yo, when you see an Xbox game launching or whatnot, nobody's thinking like, oh, this is gonna be super high quality. That you already conformed, or you already set the standard as far as how an Xbox game is launching. Nobody's thinking, yo, 90 masterpiece. They just think, oh, we're gonna play this game. Hopefully it's fun. You know what I mean? The bar has been set with all the years of the games that's releasing it. And they're not mind blowing. This set the bar. This is industry standard type games that's coming out. I don't know what they're thinking over there.
You still have to build a game. You still have to ship a game. And this game was significantly below our internal metrics in terms of where it actually reviewed. But that's not on anybody but us. Like, we have to own that. In terms of our commitment to the game, absolutely. The team at Arcane is on taking the near-term feedback. We're still working on the 60 frames per second. We have a good timeline for that. We're
have a good timeline for you can't even come on this interview and tell people like, yeah, it's gonna be like a couple of months or whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, give some guarantee with that, because they know this joint ain't coming out no time soon, man. They know they're in a shithole when it comes to this game. They know it.
committed to getting that done, and we're going to continue to work the game. I think we've.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Live service type mentality for a game like that. That's not even a live service game because of Game Pass. We're going to continue feeding you these promises. The Xbox fans like, yeah, they're gonna fix the game. You know, I'm gonna still subscribe and stay on Xbox and this and that. While, you know, years down the line, the game's up to snuff finally. They already done took multiple $15 a month away from you before, you know, as this game get up there. And I'm leaning towards first party stuff. That is the problem, Phil. This is why you're not going to see no exponential growth when it comes to Xbox, because that is the mindset people are thinking when it comes to this platform. You're not getting a great game day one. You know, eventually it will get good. That you can say that for any game. God of War Ragnarok didn't launch, was like, oh, it's not a good game right now. It'll eventually get good. For a single player narrative driven game. Is Redfall, do you have multiple options and all that stuff within the dialogue or the endings and whatnot? No, this is a focus, linear type narrative. I ain't even calling it narrative, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? You got one result when you beat the game. It shouldn't be we're gonna get there with that type of game. It should be already there, is what I'm saying.
We've shown a commitment to games like Sea of Thieves and
Stop bringing up Sea of Thieves. That's not a good example, man. It took years. That is not, you know, giving anybody any confidence with Redfall bringing up like an example like Sea of Thieves. The mindset is like, oh, so it's going to take 2-3 years for that game to get up to snuff. People been moved on already, man. Phil, you need to talk to me, man. Phil, you need to talk to me, man. Like, real talk. You get in a party chat, a Discord, something. You need real talk type of conversations, man. No pandering, you know, type of stuff. You need people from the outside talking to you, bro.
Like Grounded to continue to go and build games. But
Grounded.
I also know that these games are $70, and I'm not gonna I'm gonna take full responsibility for launching a game that needs to be great. You know, I think what I have with the Xbox community, what I am a part of, is a team. There's still questions that pop every so often of how committed is the company to this category. When are we just going to push Xbox out of the market? There's a lot of Twitter firing of Phil right now, which is fine. I'm way overpaid.
He got his ears to the.
So like, I get that's my responsibility. But we will remain committed to the game.
I mean, can you blame the community? You know what I mean? I'm not saying be disrespectful and all that stuff, but yo, at this point, it's like, yo, can you blame the community for what they are saying or even bringing up that notion of like, yo, firing Phil Spencer? Especially if they've been disappointed for years. It's not like, oh, I'm just disappointed in 2023. You know, that fan base has been disappointed for years. Anybody else in any other platform, they would have been gone. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think a lot of people in the gaming community, they do like Phil Spencer. They do like the fact that he goes out and speak and, you know, do these interviews and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's all about results, man. What are your results? So is your results the platform that people that buy into your consoles spend money in, day out? Are they happy? That's where the whole firing Phil coming through. Because these motherfuckers ain't happy.
players, as long as the players want to go play games. And that's my commitment to the community. I'm kind of at a low point right now in terms of my delivery on that commitment to the community.
You think?
But it very much stays. I want to support the team. I want to support the creative ambitions of the teams, and I want to support the players. And we let a lot of people down this week with the launch of the game, but we will continue to strive on. You have to, right? That's what creative is about.
No, you absolutely do. And to kind of start transitioning this into hopefully more happy news, but I do want to address something, around that.
What happy news?
Obviously today you announced the Xbox Game Showcase, which will be happening this June. And obviously there's going to be a lot of new reveals and surprises that come out of that, which is great. But I am going to bring it back again to another common theme that I do hear through the community. And I've actually said this to you in the past, but it's about communication coming from Xbox. I do feel back in 2021, you did a
Hey, Mike, sip that water, man.
Which arguably has been the best year during this current generation of Xbox. Obviously, we know that 2022 was a light year for Xbox as far as releasing titles.
2021 was
last year during the showcase. You had the 12-month plan.
2021 was not a good year for Xbox. You know what I mean? It was a good year for PlayStation. You just bought up these games that now you just magically own. You know what I mean? Oh, what are you going on? What came out in 2021? Psychonauts. What's the airplane game called? Like, what are we doing?
You didn't necessarily deliver on all the games coming.
No, we didn't deliver. Not necessarily. We didn't deliver.
Absolutely.
Hey, yo, Phil, don't cut my man Paris off like that again. But you're right, though. You didn't deliver.
So my point of bringing that up is this, talking about some of
Hey, yo, Gary, wait, if you don't knock it off, man, with your props, there ain't nothing in that can, man. There's nothing in that can, man. Knock it off, man. Paris, go ask your question.
The lessons learned that come out of that, and obviously even with not every game making the 12 months, going back to again, game development, things happen, things aren't always going to come on time. But as we go into this showcase, one of the common themes that I hear is I don't know enough about things that you've announced in the past, like even more specifically going back to 2020. And I'll just run down a quick list of it. Vowed.
Paris, that's my question. Yeah, 2020 showcase, you show a whole bunch of games we don't know nothing about. Paris definitely listen. Paris, listen to me.
Perfect Dark, Everwild, which is something we really don't know that much about. Fable, State of Decay 3, Contraband. Obviously, we've seen a little more in Hellblade 2. We have studios like In Exile and Compulsion Games that we know are working on things, but we haven't seen any real.
Hey, kind of funny. This is a nice little setup over here, man. It's nice.
My questions, balance and communication, because even in this, it's like, what is that balance on when you show something that is going to be years down the road, and kind of that cadence of providing updates along the way. And obviously, as we go into this showcase, not that you need to reveal anything specific here, but what were some of those lessons learned from last year's showcase that you'll bring into this one?
Yeah, and you might try to get me on positive. I'm not in positive mode this week, so I'll apologize for staying in.
Oh, we got Grumpy Phil. He said I'm not in positive mode this week. Okay, Phil, I see. That's why that eyes so low. I see what's going on. All right, Phil.
Cranky mode, but
cranky Phil.
The lessons learned. And I'll even go back to the Redfall videos on IGN of showing.
No, go back to what the man just asked you. Why are these games not being spoken about? But you want to talk about Activision Blizzard deal? Please, Phil.
Showing videos of the game running at 60 on PC. At the point knowing that the game was going to run 30 frames per second at launch on console. Like, we have to be transparent about what we're showing, that what we're showing is representative of what our console customer, our most committed customer to our brand, financially committed, what they're going to see, what they're going to play, and that transparency just has to get better. And I'm not pointing at anybody but myself, right? I guess at some point I will have enough knocks against me that it's somebody else here.
What's the transparency on what the games he just listed? Are we going to get there?
Here, but that I think it's transparency in what we're building, what our aspiration is for the game, what it's going to look like, what the features are, And it drives me crazy when we self-inflicted wounds of kind of putting things out there of communication that's confusing or misleading about what the actual end product is going to be. So you can try to take me to positive space. I'm just
Yeah, like showing these games on PC. You're selling the Xbox console as well. Why these games never be showcased on the Xbox? That's transparency. Like, yeah, why? You know what I mean? You just get a little more specific, I feel, please. You know what I mean? You trying to put blame on Cerebon. You put Cerebon on that goddamn stage talking about next 12 months and all that stuff. I need you to answer the man's question, please.
Just not in that headspace right now. That said, when I go and I look at Showcase, and I'm not going to try to oversell Showcase here, because if I were on the other side of watching this, it's like, hey, after Redfall, I'm going to put my hands on the controller, and that's what's going to take to kind of prove to me. But that's not what Showcase is. So I'm very enthusiastic about Showcase. We're going to announce some things that people haven't seen, some new games. We're going to give updates to some of the things that were on your list. The other thing that gets me really excited is when I look forward over the next quarters, which has always been my focus of how do we get a big game out every quarter at quality, that things are lining up finally after some of the slowdown through COVID. I'm tired of talking about that. But I can now see that we've got games coming every quarter that I think will surprise and delight our customers. We still have to deliver on the creative. We still have to deliver on the technical. Not every game we ship is for everybody. We know that. Like, I don't want to build, I'm not trying to build the one game to rule them all. We will have different creative takes and we have a very diverse portfolio when you think about the stuff that Microsoft Game Studios builds. But I like that. I think for what we're trying to do as Xbox, which isn't to mimic any of the other platforms out there, it's create our own brand and identity. The diversity of what we build, hopefully, will end up being a strength. But we have to do it at quality. We have to do it on time, and we have to show people what they're actually going to see. We have to show gameplay, and I think I'm kind of beyond that. Like, we've got to put great games in the hands of our players. There's
on Xbox.
If I could follow up on that, and I apologize.
Paris, follow up.
But I make sure I want to follow up on the point of everything that you just said, and I'll take it from a personal standpoint. I've been a big believer in what Xbox has been building since about 2016, right? Xbox Play Anywhere, Game Pass, what you're doing with the Series X.
Nah, pat that shit up. Pat that shit up, Paris. I'm sorry. We pat that question up, man.
X and S, just the cloud initiative, everything. I love all the services and the marketing message that you present to the community. But to your point, and for me personally, I have Game Pass. My kids play it. We all love it. But you even mentioned, delivering quality experiences every quarter, things like that. That's the sentiment that we get from the community right now. That's the sentiment that I even have of, it's great to talk about these things. I think we've been talking about them ad nauseum. It's like, when are we going to get to that point of actually delivering these experiences? When down those games, there's 20 something studios. Forget Activision. Xbox Game Studios, what it is today, there's more than enough studios and titles out there that we're all anticipating. And I think that is the common.
This man listen to me. He listened to me. Worry about Activision for. You got 23 studios. 20 you announced 20 something games in 2020. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? Yeah. Let me see how Phil answered this question.
Frustration that I see out there from people that it's like, we're tired of hearing wait till next year. And I know you know that, but
I know.
It's like,
I know.
Yeah.
And this year started out well.
Yeah.
Yes, Developer Direct was received well. The team did a really good job, I thought, with the messaging around to your point, around setting expectation. And I will even say, yes, I'm rooting for the home team here, but I'll say over delivering on expectations of that show versus what it was. I think the drop of Hi-Fi to say, hey, if you've got Game Pass, you don't even have to buy the game. Like, just go click. People loved Hi-Fi. Something we don't talk a lot about that same month, Age 2 on console shipped. Truth be told, more people are playing a bunch of people are playing Hi-Fi and Age 2, but Age 2 actually has more players right now. But all the fanfare goes
great game.
To the highly rated kind of new.
Yo, Age of Empire 2, I love the hell out of that game. Real talk. That's a great game. I love the hell. I still have my PC physical disc for Age of Empire 2. Never lost it. Never will sell it. Never will do none of that. I love the hell out of that game.
You hi-fi, get that. I know the review scores on Minecraft Legends. Minecraft, I think, always reviews somewhere kind of different than the top. But if I look at the reaction, I think we've already had over 3 million people playing. I saw like its launch week, it was the #1 retail game on the Switch in Japan, which isn't always where Microsoft sits in terms of sales. So I feel like
But they hungry, man. It's like, damn, Xbox can't. You know what? Let me just play this. Just to give it a go. They hungry, man. You know,
momentum is building.
There you go, Mike. Sip that. Gulp it. Gulp it.
And then something like Redfall happens, and the Xbox community should demand a lot from us as a team. Where we sit inside of Microsoft, we've got the resources to do better. 2022 was, as you said, a very light year, I think is what you said. I might have other words for it. And then 2023, we started well, and this was a knockback. But it's our job to go and deliver on the next games. I can only look forward, right? I can sit here and wallow in my own frustration. But all I can do is say, I'm going to do better tomorrow than I did yesterday. And continue to support the teams and continue to grow.
Say that's in 2018, Phil.
I think it is ours to prove that. I can say now, and everybody can already stop. I don't want to hear what Phil has to say about the future, and I kind of fully respect that point of view. That we've got Starfield coming, we've got Forza coming, we've got Hellblade coming. Like, we've got collections of games. I'm seeing very good builds of Avowed and stuff. Like, we're in.
Hey, listen, we're very skeptical when it comes to you seeing very good builds of a game because you just released Redfall. Just saying. Just saying.
Like, I can see it. But until you have.
Yeah, we saw Redfall too. Yeah.
Have a controller in your hand and you're smiling from playing our games, none of my words should matter.
Shout out to Honey for sponsoring this.
What the hell is this? Lessons learned.
Funny.
Paris was just talking about what have you learned. And I want to go back to that in the case of Red.
Oh, listen, if this question lasts 8 minutes, Gary Witter, listen, I'm taking a trip to San Francisco, wherever you guys are.
Or even just as a case study for things like this when they happen in general. Because Redfall wasn't even the only game to stumble out of the gate this week. Look at the PC version of Jedi Survivor.
Oh my, yo, you see what I'm saying, yo, bro? You see what I'm saying about Gary Witter, man? Like, yo, really, truly, I have no slander, but yo, this man, focus on the what's in front of you, man. Yes, Star Wars Jedi Survivor launch with issues as well. That is not the conversation right now. You always trying to make it to seem like it's a grander thing, or just to alleviate the issues or the pressure that Xbox is having by bringing up something else. Focus on Xbox and please get to your goddamn question.
Survivor. What a mess. Unacceptable that game shipped in the state that it was. And they must have known. It was, oh, geez, the game has bugs. No, you knew, and you shipped it anyway. So EA...
Why you can't say that to Phil? You knew it was bugs and all that stuff for Redfall, but you shipped it anyway. Why you ain't asked that question, man? You over talking about Jedi Survivor. Are you talking to EA right now? Are you talking to Respawn right now? You're talking to Phil Spencer, the man that just launched Redfall this week, but you out here talking about Jedi and why they shipped that. You knew. You have the ample opportunity right here to talk to the man and tell him why the hell you shipped Redfall.
Hey, Respawn freaks, even on a massive title like that, it's going to be a Game of the Year contender. We all know that, but like the PC version was unacceptable. My understanding is the PlayStation version's a bit of a mess as well. So we're still seeing this stuff happening on the regular. Just in general, when things, I'm fascinated, as you might know, I'm fascinated by the subject of failure because I've experienced a lot of it in my own career and in my personal life as well. And I think about it.
I hope that book ain't failed. That you propped up there magically or conveniently.
A lot. The #1 quote that I stole from a person much smarter than me, I talk about it all the time when I talk about writing at creative seminars and things like that, is failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of it. But that's only true if you
I
can
like
get past feeling sorry.
I like that quote though. I like, all right, Gary, I see you with that quote, man. Okay. All right, man. Go ahead, ask your question, man. Ask your question.
Sorry for yourself when something fails, and sift through the rubble and start figuring out, well, what can we learn? What can we learn from this failure? What can we take from this? What is teachable? And so I wanted to ask Phil, both in general and in the case of Redfall, I know you said you were going to work in towards kind of turning the game around, but like, do you have a formal process, and what does it look like in the case of Redfall when something doesn't meet expectations? Is it something you get into right away, or do you wait for the dust to settle? What is the post-mortem process? What is the what went wrong, and how do we prevent this from happening again process look like at Xbox?
Yeah, it's a great point, and I think I love your quote, Gary. I might lift that from you. People don't have to care about this, but I'll talk about it. When we acquire studios, there's games that are in development when we acquire.
Ain't nothing
studio,
that can, bro.
Games that are either really early.
Hey, yo,
in
somebody, please. Who's the producer? Please get that man a new king. That he magically props perfectly every time to show the name of what he's drinking. Please get this man another can. Please, man.
Not even conceived yet. And I think we need to improve on engaging in games that are midway through production when they become part of Xbox. I do think there's a different expectation for a game and even a team when you've been third party and all of a sudden you become part of first party. There's a different expectation in terms of how you're going to perform on our console. I think there's a different competitive set when people look at what this game is and the other games that they're going to say, hey, I want this game to feel as competitive as this other game on another console platform in our case. And we didn't do a good job early on in engaging with Arcane Austin to really help them understand what it meant to be part of Xbox and part of first party and use some of our internal resources.
What did this man do? You didn't help them with the
platform in our case. And we didn't do a good job early on in engaging with Arcane Austin to really help them understand what it meant to be part of Xbox and part of first party and use some of our
you acquired this publisher and these developers in 2020. It officially went through in 2021. You didn't engage with them as far as like, here's the tools that the fan base been looking for. They've been searching far and wide. Phil, what? Yo, it is definitely a management issue going on, Phil. You can understand why people was like, yo, fire Phil Spencer, man. With that being said, that sounds crazy to me. How you can spend all this money on a studio or a publisher and not engage with them when it comes to releasing a product on your platform. So Phil, I need to talk to Phil, man. I need to talk to Phil Spencer right now. I need jbarry_ on Twitter. I need to talk to Phil Spencer right now. Get that done.
Internal resources to help them and kind of move along that journey even faster. So we kind of left them to go work on the game. They're a very talented team. I love that team, and I still do. And I will totally bet on them to do another great game. But when I, like Matt Booty and Jamie Leaders, Renan Zenimax, and I sit down, I think we can engage earlier with our different studios. And I do think there's a difference when we come in when the creative's already set on a game. That's not washing our hands of any of the creative. Every game we ship from our teams is an Xbox game. And so it's a full responsibility for it. But thinking about how our internal processes of dev assistance, even some of our internal ATG resources, what's the Advanced Technology Group, and how those work with our internal teams. I think we can do a better job with our internal teams. We did a better job with Starfield. Again, nobody should believe it until they're playing the game. But that game was earlier on.
You damn right we ain't gonna believe it before we play that. Well, I ain't interested in no Starfield, but listen, you damn right nobody gonna believe that, Phil. You just yapping. Actions. It is not who you are underneath. It's the things that you do that defines you. Actions. You stole my quote on Twitter before. I remember that, Phil. You changed it up now. Batman Begins. Actions.
on in production, and it was easier for us to kind of swarm a bunch of people to go and kind of help with some of the technology on our platform and ensure that we're going to ship a quality experience there. And we should have been there for Harvey and the team earlier. I think that's on us. And then through the process, you know, it's an Unreal game. We have a bunch of studios that have done some really great work on Unreal over the years. And I think we were too.
Yes. So if you had a whole bunch of studios that work with Unreal, I know Gears does. How the hell you don't send nobody over to help them on this game on Unreal? It's Unreal. It's Unreal that you didn't send any help or
too late to help in that when they had certain issues that they were working through, which any team will. It's nothing to do with the specific engine, but we have a lot of experience, and we needed to get on that earlier with the team, and we didn't do that. And that's not an excuse. You asked just to kind of diagnose.
It is an excuse. When people say it's not an excuse, it is an excuse. Yo, Mike, go sip that water again, though. But you look like you're going through it right now, Mike.
So when the 60 frames per second issue came up, we were definitely diving in. We had people from the Coalition and people from Rare and stuff looking, both teams that have done some really great work with Unreal to help us build a 60 FPS plan. But obviously that was a plan that had to be in place last fall in order for us to really be in a position to have it at launch. And I take that as learning, as painful as it is. But as you said, you know, it's part of getting to success are those learnings and that diagnosis. There's a bunch of other stuff I could go into, but then we end up with kind of dev doc, which I'm happy to do. But yeah.
Well, Phil, we don't have much time with you, so I'm going to go around.
Yeah, because Gary took up the whole goddamn time, man. Legit 10 minutes of his quote unquote questions, man. Just talking points and rambling about other platforms and other games.
On the table, I'll give everybody one final question for Phil. I'm going to rattle off a couple quick ones with you, Phil. Of course, we talk about.
Yeah, get your question off. You ain't asked a question at the beginning of the damn stream.
60 frames, 30 frames. Should Xbox players expect a clear message this summer with Starfield with 30 and 60 frames? That's a big lesson learned, as you brought up. Should we expect that answer? It's clear as day?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great one. Another.
Yeah. What? Do you expect 30 or 60? Is it going to be both? Starfield? $30, $60? Nah.
The one you see a lot of conversation. Of course, I want to praise you and the team for really elevating the PC side of this Xbox ecosystem. I think we've seen a lot of great strides in that. But when you see the community talk about the console side of things, do you think you've lost the focus or maybe put too much onto the PC side? Do you think that the console is still getting?
Okay, Mike. I like that question.
Console love that it deserves, whether it be the homepage update, achievements, of course, looking forward and using the power of this next gen. Do you think you guys have lost that focus, or is it still there? And can we see more love?
We know it's not there, but I want to see how he gonna answer. How you gonna finagle yourself out of this question? This is a very direct question. I like the setup with the whole PC thing. I was caught off guard, but then he brought it to the console side. I want to see how you finagle yourself out of this goddamn question, Phil Spicker. Go ahead.
On that side.
Well, we'll definitely continue to focus on making our console experience as great as it can be. I like the homepage refresh and some stuff. I will say this might be disruptive as well. We have a different vision. You know, Paris talked about this. It's play the games you want with the people you want anywhere you want. We want Xbox to be something that people who buy our console can feel like they're a member of. Obviously, who are playing on PC, who are playing on cloud, that they feel like they're full members of our ecosystem. Game Pass players can play on many different devices, and we remain fully committed to that. We're not in the business of out-consoling Sony or out-consoling Nintendo.
Phil, that's not what he asked you. He's asking for reassurance when it comes to the console side of things that you did not forget about the console. Why majority of the people that are quote unquote Xbox fans are playing on. They feel like you are departing away from the core fan base when it comes to the console. We understand you're going for PC. You want to build that ecosystem and expand your ecosystem. But they want to talk about the console. It's not about competing with PlayStation. It's not about competing with Nintendo. It's about reassuring your fan base that's playing on the console that you are not forgetting about them.
There isn't really a great solution or win for us. And I know that will upset a ton of people, but it's just the truth of the matter is that when you're third place in
Oh shit. Oh damn. Yo, Phil, chill, bro. Yo, Phil cranky. This is cranky Phil. He cranky, boy. Phil, chill, man. He said, "What you're." Yo, that's the widest his eyes has opened up when he said that. Look at this, bro. Look at this. Where we at? 35. Look how his eyes wide open.
But it's just the truth of the matter is that when you're third place in the console marketplace and the top two players are as strong as they are and have in certain
But yeah, you're not answering the question though. Real talk, Phil, respectfully.
Discrete focus on doing deals and other things that will that kind of make being Xbox hard for us as a team. That's on us, not on anybody else. Our vision is that everybody who's on console has to feel like they have a great experience and they're a first-class citizen. They've invested a ton in our platform. But we are not in a position, and I see it out there. I see commentary that if you just build great games, everything would turn around. It's just not true that if we go off and build great games, all of a sudden you're going to see console share shift.
Yeah. That yes. Yes, that is true. If this platform has the games that people love and they want to play, yes, they're going to migrate over there, or they're going to buy it as well. The problem is nobody wants to buy an Xbox because what you're saying that you're against and incentivizing, like how Nintendo and PlayStation is doing, you're not trying to do. So people was like, why do I need to buy into an Xbox? Bro, what? Come on, Phil, man. That's a horrible answer. That's a horrible answer. Real talk. Horrible answer.
Some dramatic way. We lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation, where everybody built their digital library of games. So when you go and you're building on Xbox, we want our Xbox community to feel awesome. But this idea that if we just focused more on great games on our console, that somehow we're going to win the console race, I think doesn't really lay into the reality of most people. Like
No, you're not in reality, Phil. Why are people buying a Switch? They're not buying a Switch because the feature sets. They buying it because of the games. That's why it sold over 100 and something million. It's the games that people are attracted to. So you're telling me that you're not it's not about delivering great games, you know what I mean, on the consoles. People's not going. It's crazy. That sounds insane. That sounds nuts.
90% of the people every year who walk into a retailer to buy a console are already a member of one of the three ecosystems.
Yeah. And when they come into that retail store, if they don't see Xbox delivering on anything that is worthy for them to buy it, they're just going to skip on Xbox. This is why you got to put out the great games where people's like, when they do walk in that retail store, oh, this is on Xbox? Oh, I got to get an Xbox and I got to buy the game. You're not incentivizing people to do that. And you're looking like you're trying to damage control that, you know what I mean? Because whatever business philosophy that you have right now for Xbox and PC is centered around Game Pass.
And their digital library is there. This is the first generation where the big games that they're playing were games that were available last gen. When you think about Fortnite and Roblox and Minecraft, like the continuity from generation to generation is so strong. I see a lot of pundits out there that kind of want to go back to the time where we all had cartridges and discs, and every new generation was a clean slate, and you could switch the whole console share. That's just not the world that we are in today. There is no world where Starfield's an 11 out of 10 and people start selling their PS5s. That's not going to happen. So what we
Yeah, it's not going to happen because PlayStation is going to continue to deliver great games. But you know what will happen? That if Starfield is a great game, people will go out and buy your console on top of having a PlayStation 5.
have to do, and we have this unique vision because we see what creators want to do. Creators want to build games that can meet players on any screen. People play with their friends regardless of what other screen they're on. And the console is the core of the Xbox brand. There's no doubt. So
Okay, it's a core. So answer the man question. Can you reassure Xbox gamers that you're not departing from the console?
like we will stay focused on making sure that console experience is awesome. But I
Okay,
know some people want to hold us up of just being a better green version of what the blue guys do. And I'm just going to say, like, there's not a win.
he's trying to pander to the fanboys, the radicals with that. Watch they use that in this whole interview right here. All the Xbox podcasts and everything, they're going to use this statement right here.
For Xbox and staying in the wake of somebody else. We have to go off and do our own thing with Game Pass, with the stuff we do with xCloud and the
Game Pass, let it. Not games. Game Pass. Now we can't do our own things with games. No, we got to do our own things with Game Pass that led that. These are key talking points that people are going to overlook.
way we build our games. Sorry, I was a little long-winded.
No, that was perfect. And
No, you're not long-winded. You ain't answer the question, but that dude right there in that plaid shirt is long-winded.
unfortunately, we do have to say goodbye to you, Phil. I know that we have a hard out here, but I want to end it with something positive, Phil, because I've gotten cranky, Phil, this whole episode, and I freaking love you, and I appreciate you being on and being hard with us, but I do need something positive out of you, Phil. So before you leave, tell me and the Xbox community something positive that you're looking forward to, that you're playing, anything fun to bring a smile to your face.
Dude,
I hope he mentions a game coming to Xbox. I hope he says that, bro. Because this is let me play.
I'm an optimist. Like I will always see. I'll use this for you. The gap between the trees. I'll always see the fresh pow. Like this is why I'm here. I love the games that are ahead of us. I'm having a great time playing the games that are available in Game Pass today. I look in Ravenlock coming. Benedict's here. I just love playing video games. One of the things I am excited about is the ROG Ally, something I've got my hands on if people have had a chance to play with that. And I just love the fact
the ROG Ally. Yo, pray for Xbox, man. They don't get it. They don't get it. I look at the disappointment in Mike's face. They do not get it. I'm done with the interview. Shout out to Kind of Funny. You know what I mean, for getting Phil Spencer on here. But I'm done with the interview, bro. I'm done with the interview because that right there, that tells it all. You know what I mean? That just tells it all right there. Once again, shout out to Kind of Funny interviewing Phil Spencer. This was a reaction, video to the interview. There was some cool, questions asked. I felt like it was a little long, winded asking the question, but it was a lot of dodging around it, man. Why is Redfall? Why did you release Redfall? Can you reassure the faith with Xbox fans in the console? Skate around it, bringing up the Asus ROG. The fuck that got to do with Xbox? My man said I wanted some Xbox positive news or positivity. He brought up the Asus ROG. and Game Pass. This is the state that Xbox is in, man. But at the end of the day, guys, if you guys enjoyed this reaction, let me know in the comment section. Hopefully, kind of funny. Don't copyright me or don't block the video. Hopefully, they don't do that. But make sure y'all go over there. I'll have the link in the description of the Kind of Funny interview. You know, hit the like button over there because they're doing great things, getting Phil Spencer on there. But yeah, this was very disappointing as far as the answers to some of these questions and the deflecting to other platforms and whatnot. I don't understand that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. It's boy Jay Bari, and I'll catch you in the next one, man. Deuces.